Love, it has been good to me this time around. Things were ever bound to change when it was found. Sugar never tasted sweeter on my lips. My heart is now intact and I can find
Yes, hello and welcome to today's episode of the X-RAD show, aka on Wednesdays, the Zan and Ann show, the talk show that really does get you talking on the Xandermonium network. I'm Xander Gibb.
And I'm Andrea Kaye.
Oh, yes, sirree. Welcome back. On today's show, the hottest of topics, and in part two, conservative comedian Steven Snyder joins us. Fasten your seatbelts. More to come in a mere moment. So you can join in with the show. You can comment in the feed that's going on around the live video. You can tweet us. The tweet deeds are on the Xrad Facebook show page for today. And you can also check us out on social media. Welcome back to the show, Andrea. How is the world with you? We missed you last week.
I'm so glad to be back with you and all your amazing X-RAD listeners and followers on Facebook Live. I am in such good spirits today, Zan, because guess what we found out?
What?
That these celebrities that have been trying to push their gluten-free obsession and religion on us, that gluten-free actually can increase heart disease. And so I have just taken that knowledge today and just enjoyed me some gluten all day long, baby.
Wow. Yeah, I kind of attempted the gluten-free fad for a while, but the concern for me about the gluten-free brigade is that it's so expensive, and like if you want, even if you take into consideration a pack of like pasta that you cook yourself, it's 2 or 3 times the price to buy gluten-free, and a lot of people have said that they think it's a con.
Well, I know somebody who has a son-in-law who has celiac disease. There are some people that actually have like a food allergy to gluten, and they need to avoid it. But most people right now, and kind of what's happening in California and beyond, is that it's the latest food craze.
Right.
For years ago, everything was fat-free. Then it's, low carb, but now it's, gluten-free. And whenever there's one of these fads, it's like it takes over my grocery store and I can't find my product that I want,
right.
So, truthfully, you can actually create food issues by withholding a particular type of food. I'd even heard that one of the reasons why we've got so much peanut allergies, which is can be life-threatening, is because parents were told not to give their kids peanut butter when they were little, and now they have food allergies. So
wow.
I'm saying, if you got a real gluten problem, fine. Otherwise, why are you spending 3 times as much on food? Why are you introducing issues? But most importantly, why are y'all pushing this and taking my whole wheat products off the shelf?
Right. Absolutely. I mean, I'm not a white bread kind of guy, and there's no innuendo there, I assure you. I've always loved like brown bread or whole wheat bread or even granary. But wheat is not always bad for you unless you have a diagnosed intolerance to gluten, and even then when you do, they say that you should still expose yourself to some in order, because this is how we build up our immunities and our body's ability to deal with stuff. So if you're never kind of having any of these things, how does your body kind of work out? No wonder if you've never ever had these things, there's no wonder your body goes into kind of, hey, what the heckity is this kind of mode.
Exactly, and it's hard to keep track heck, I mean, it's like if you're gluten-free, you're probably high-carb, and you know what? High-carb is supposed to be a killer. And if you're high-carb and gluten-free, what about the fats? Because for years they told us, you know, we shouldn't be eating high fats. I say eat whatever you want, baby. Just eat it in moderation, and then let me eat whatever I want to eat.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I've no concept of what that word moderation means. But you know, I have an eating disorder, and it's called having two hands, but you know, only one mouth. Surely God should have given us like two mouths or a slot on each side, so you can be, you know, eating your burger with one hand and the fries with the other. Is that going too far? Possibly.
No, you can never go too far when you're eating the comfort foods, baby.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I love my food, but you know, it's kind of interesting. You know, I'm a big guy. I make no bones about it. You know, I'm a conservative fat ass, as someone called me recently. So you know, that's absolutely, you know, it's like sticks and stones. But you know, I do like my food, but I actually love healthy food. So when I pig out, I pig out on stuff that's healthy, and you know, because in my opinion, if it's healthy, then you can eat more, right?
Well, supposedly, but then you know, one of the things that we conventional wisdom that fruit is healthy, but then I'm watching some segment on my local news recently saying not to eat strawberries. So it's like, you know, I don't know what to think. So I've come to the conclusion that there's no such thing as good foods or bad foods. You can work anything into your diet. It is more about moderation. So when I sit down to eat my beloved Southern fried chicken, I just eat a couple of pieces, and I don't deny myself a donut. I gotta be me, baby. No,
I don't have a sweet tooth, but so when I do have a craving for something sweet, I just kind of go for it. I have a friend who sends me kind of like care packages. So, you know, I wake up sometimes to the mailbox where there's a box of, you know, brownies, and they're just so good, and they're kind of specifically to my taste, because I like mint chocolate chips. So I get chocolate mint brownies sent from my friend. You know who you are. I'm gonna out you if you're in the chat room. But talking to the chat room, let's say a quick hello, because I know they hate being ignored, because you know they're kind of like our family. There you are. I see you. Good evening to Connie. Hi to Joe. Good evening to Sadie, and hi to Cassie if you're watching. Big hugs from Uncle Zan. Good evening to Inga. Hello to, you know, I had to stop being so vain and get glasses, because I'm squinting like this at the screen, and it's not letting me like anything in the feed for some reason. Hi to Maria. Hey to Connie. Hey to CV. Good evening to our good friend Zell. Hi to Chris. Hi to Flower. Hi to the beautiful Andrea Kaye. Is she any relation to you, And?
I never heard of her. Sheesh.
Hi to Gina. Welcome. I hope your feed is working well tonight. Good evening to Joe. Hi to, I think that's everybody. Hi to Jim. Welcome to all of you. Oh, it's letting me click like now, so don't think that I was not liking your things. Just sometimes Facebook kind of goes on its own, you know, it does its own thing. Do you know what I mean?
I always know what you mean. But, you know, just as you were saying that you couldn't click like, I was able to click like, but somebody else was saying they were having a little trouble with it. So I think you've kind of got to refresh the Facebook Live like every few minutes, right, Zan?
Yeah, I think so. Because when you refresh the page, you kind of get it. You get the live feed a little bit better. But if you are broadcasting live, remember to minus the volume on the video, because otherwise you get this huge feedback. Now, talking of feedback, there was a lot of political noise in my ear today. And a lot of it was kind of stuff that really bothered me. I kind of check in a few times a day. You know, when you're doing a show, you kind of want to know what's going on in the United States, so you can comment on it. But today, I was nauseated. That was the word I was looking for. Does that resonate a little with you too?
Absolutely, it's resonating with me. Guess who else was nauseous today, nauseated? Our buddy, friend of all Americans, most importantly, I'm being facetious, obviously, and sarcastic, but the best friend of all to Hillary Clinton and Loretta Lynch is James Comey, who said that he's just mildly nauseous at the that he might have had some effect on the election.
Please.
I posted on Facebook. What makes me really nauseous is any man who's supposed to be the head of the Federal Bureau of Investigation who gets nauseous over anything regarding his job. You're that weak? You're that weak that you get nauseous?
Absolutely.
You should not be in your job. That proves right there that this man had no business handling any investigation that involved the violation of the Espionage Act and a Secretary of State. No business whatsoever. And I don't really know why he's still in his job, Sam.
Ditto.
That's kind of making me nauseous.
Ditto. Well, I want to talk about Hillary first of all, because she was my biggest kind of today, because she predicted that President Trump would tweet a reaction to her commentary today, recently, regarding the 2016 election campaign. And during a live interview with the Woman for Woman International Luncheon in New York City, you know that's nothing to do with lesbians before you ask, she touted her very popular victory vote over him and argued that she would probably be president if it hadn't been for Russia's meddling in the election. No, Joe, not China. And the FBI Director James Comey's 11th hour letter to Congress about the investigation into her use of her private email server. That, of course, and in fact that she let innocent Americans die in Benghazi, misplaced $6 million when she was Secretary of State, covered for a rapist for nearly 40 years, and lied through her back teeth since day one. Trump delivered. FBI Director Comey was the best thing that ever happened to Hillary Clinton, in that it gave her a free pass for many of her bad deeds, the president tweeted. The phony Trump-Russia story was an excuse used by the Democrats as justification for losing the election. And perhaps Trump just ran a great campaign. Clinton said she took absolute personal responsibility for her loss in November, but said that she later placed the blame on Comey and the Kremlin for derailing her White House bid at that crucial moment. Now, what seized it for me was when she said, if the election had been on October 27th, I would be your president now. What say you, Andrea Kaye?
What say me is that if I was 5'11" instead of 5'2", and
Yeah.
I looked like Cindy Crawford, I might have been a supermodel too.
Exactly.
Okay? Let's talk about the genius of her predicting that Donald Trump would tweet about it. Of course, Trump was going to tweet. It's what he does.
Right.
And what does she do? She blames everybody else for her mistakes. I take full responsibility. Now, let me tell you why I'm not to blame for why I lost. As for Comey, and Hillary Clinton, I think there was a collective nausea around the country that this woman was able to run for president at all after she had not only left Americans to die in Benghazi as part of an illegal gun-running scheme that still has not been properly investigated or revealed to American people. She launched a cover-up about it with President Obama. Then she went on and violating the Espionage Act that we all know, lied about it to the American people, and still was able to not only run for president, but continue to walk the streets as a free woman. That is absolutely outrageous, and it was a waste of taxpayers' dollars today to bring that traitor Comey in front of Congress today and have it all be about poor Hillary and why he decided to say what he did on October 27th. That was a sham, and the Republicans should have never gone along with this hearing today. The Republicans should have done nothing today but ask, again, when he's going to recommend charges against her. And Huma Abedin, who, by the way, he admitted today was breaking the Espionage Act by, moving around forwarding Hillary Clinton's classified information.
So tell me this. I know you know all about this case, and it's something we've talked about on the show a lot. How come Hillary and Huma and all of those involved can walk away for free, but Navy sailor Freekrissaucier takes 6 selfies on a cell phone on a 40-year-old submarine and gets a year in jail, has to live 2 to 3 years, 2 years of his life with an ankle monitor on, and this bitch, I'm sorry, I don't usually like to call women bitches, but this bitch gets to run for president while this young guy who served his country, rots in jail, subject to cold showers, doesn't get his medication, sees his daughter growing up through IM bars, but Hillary still haunts Chappaqua.
Well, that's a really excellent question, and I thought a lot about him and Sadie today because I'm sitting there, Comey, rewrote the law basically, and they're actually on one of my Facebook threads. Lee Williams actually posted what the actual statute is that she violated. Comey rewrote the law for her and said that he couldn't recommend charges because there was no intent to break the law. Well, what was Christian Saucier 6 pictures? Where was the intent that he had, to forward that to some foreign agent? This is crap. Why are the Republicans allowing this to go forward? Donald Trump said on Inauguration Day, he said, today is the day we return the government to the people. Well, you know what? He also said drain the swamp. He also said he was a law and order candidate. There is no return of the government to the people until elected officials are held to the same standard and to the same law as American citizens.
Absolutely.
And if Christian Saucier is going to continue to be in jail, I want her there right alongside him.
Yes.
If she's not going to go to jail, then I want him freed.
Yes. Too right. And I really want to just kind of point out that we don't want to be disrespectful towards the president. I know he's very busy, but as Christian hasn't been pardoned yet, on Saturday we've officially made Saturday PKS Day, which stands for Pardon Christian Saucier. So we've got a whole lot of things lined up, and you can go to the Freekrissaucier page and take a look. We'll be having a live show from 2 to 3. There are lots of things you can do to get involved. You can Sadie will send a postcard on your behalf to the White House. You can call the White House and tell them to pardon Chris Saucier. You can make a donation. You can tweet the president, tweet pardon Christian Saucier. Please make sure that anything you send to the president is polite, because we do respect and support the president. So they're just some of the things that you can do. So on Saturday will be Pardon Christian Saucier Day. So make sure you sign up and do whatever you can to help get this young man home to his family. Oh yes, Siri, because I totally agree with you. If Chris is going to stay in jail, then Hillary should have the cell next to him. And actually, you know who should be in the cell right next to Hillary? And that's Barack Obama, because he's complicit in all of this. He's turned a blind eye to all of her bad deeds. She should have been fired far earlier from her role as Secretary of State, because she did a very bad job, and Americans died because of this woman, and nothing.
Well, not only that, but Barack Obama used a fake email address himself and communicated with her with her illegal email address and her email server, and nothing was ever done about that. And I reported on my show on Tuesday that Platte River, the computer company that set up her felonious email scheme and did all that, is facing a prosecution right now, because not for the illegal email system, but for obstruction of justice, because they did not respond to subpoenas. They weren't truthful to Congress, and I'm sitting there thinking, well, wait a second, isn't that exactly what Hillary Clinton did?
Yes.
She deleted 3,000 emails after they were under subpoena.
Yes.
She lied to Congress when she came before them. She obstructed justice. Platte River is going to be charged for it, and she's not. And the Republicans didn't mention that today in the hearing.
Yeah, you see, that hearing was a farce. The bits that I watched, I had to switch it off in the end, because, that, number one, that should never have been occurring. But if we're opening this wound again, if we're opening this up again, we have to look at all of it. And we have to look at why she was still able to run for president, given all of the things that she'd done. Because it's absolutely disgusting. It's disgusting that American citizens that have done far less rot in jail, Chris is not the only one. There are lots of people who are in jail for doing far less than Hillary with regards to mishandling of classified information. And it's not on. It's not acceptable. And as a nation, we need to stand up to injustice. And I think that it's about time, respectfully, that the Donald said, okay, that's it. You're in jail. Because, I would have thought that after all of this, she would have just settled back and, painted pictures, like George Bush, because she's got a lot to lose. But she keeps getting in his face, and we know what the president is like. He doesn't suffer fools gladly, and he's going to have her on one charge or another, and she'll be in jail.
Well, I hope so, because you know what? I was flashing. You said other Americans have gone to jail for less. Yeah, Martha Stewart. Martha Stewart did not go to jail for insider trading. She went to jail for one false statement she made in an investigation, and she spent 6 months in jail.
Disgusting.
We cannot be the country that are supposed to be when we have our elected officials flagrantly breaking the law like this and getting away with it. And Donald Trump, one of the reasons why he won his election was drain the swamp, law and order candidate,
right,
holding people accountable. And when he said in that debate, you'd be in jail if I was president, let's hope he meant it.
Let's hope so too. I mean, I know we had a lot to do. We had a big mess to clean up. You know, the Obama misadministration really messed the country up, and there really is a lot to do. But you know, I think we need to start to see some action now. And I'm not saying that I'm losing faith in the president. I'll back him, you know, 250%. You know, I've been behind him since the moment that it was announced that he was going to be the candidate, and I will stand by him, you know, throughout. I just think that this is something that America needs to see to feel right about things. She needs to be in jail. She needs to be prosecuted for the things that she'd done. And really, you know, it doesn't sit well with a lot of people. Now, I want to carry this on a little bit with regards to James Comey and his impassioned defense that he gave to lawmakers today on his decision just days before the 2016 presidential election to inform Congress that the Bureau was reopening its investigation into Hillary Clinton's use of a private email server as Secretary of State. I faced a choice, Comey said in the testimony before the Senate Judiciary Committee. I lived my entire career by the tradition that if you can possibly avoid it, you avoid any action in the run-up to an election that might have an impact, whether it's a dog catcher election or a president of the United States, whatever the hell that means. In deciding to handle the potentially explosive information, I could see two doors and they were both labeled action. I'll translate that for you. He was scared because let's face it, Loretta Lynch had been threatened by Bill Clinton, and I don't think Comey wanted any of the same. One was labeled speak and the other was labeled conceal, Comey said. He was nauseated. Well, we're nauseated to think he might have affected the outcome of the election, which is exactly how most Americans should feel, thinking that this fool still has a job. Why is he still there, Andrea? Why has he not been fired for gross incompetence?
You know, that's a really good question. I think that Trump has so many cabinet positions, so many director level positions, many staffing, many different things that he needed to deal with, and positions that he needed to fill early on that I think he miscalculated and felt like that was one he didn't have to deal with right now.
Right.
I think he felt like because Comey walked the line in the summer, he gave Hillary a pass, but then he made a move that did damage her towards the end, that Trump was going to leave him in. I think Trump miscalculated that, and then it became a situation with this whole Russian thing to where if he got rid of Comey then, it just would have smelled too bad. And now I think he's kind of stuck with Comey in that position for the time being. I think 6 months from now, Comey will be gone. Comey has no business being in that position. He's too dang cozy. That description that he gave, oh my gosh, I had two doors here, and he mentioned at one point today, I had rocks thrown at me. It was so hard. I'm sitting there thinking, are you kidding me? I had more of a backbone standing up to, you know, peers of mine in junior high.
Yeah.
I mean, this man is so weak mentally and emotionally, and not only that, but it also displays how if he was that tortured emotionally, I don't think it was fear that he was going to be Vince Foster.
No.
I think that these were his buddies. 98% of people in the intelligence community donated to Hillary's campaign. She's their gooba.
Yeah.
She's their bookie.
Of course she is.
He didn't want to bring her down. He didn't want to call out Loretta Lynch. Sessions has been forced to recuse himself for certain things, but Lynch was able to stay on after the tarmac meeting. This whole thing just stinks.
Totally.
Comey needs to go.
And what about the appearance of impartiality? I mean, I'm not a lawyer, but, you know, I've watched Law and Order often enough to know that if you're involved in a case, you have to make sure there isn't even an appearance of impropriety. There's more impropriety in this case than I don't know what. And I think that this is something we cannot walk away from, and I think that it should be investigated again, and it should be investigated independently, without James Comey involved. And, you know, the thing that bothers me is, you know, this is 2017 America, the things we're supposed to stand for. If people are afraid to investigate politicians because they might get killed, then what does that say about America in 2017?
Well, I think you hit on something really important there when you said that this needs to be investigated without Comey. Comey needs to be investigated as well.
Yes.
Part of what I dislike in where some of this stuff has gone down is that it's as though the intelligence community is a protected class at this point. Oh, you can't question the motives of the intelligence community. Why not? This is the same intelligence community that has failed us over and over and over again.
Right.
When you've got the Department of Defense that has been infiltrated at the highest levels with political correctness and has been politicized, the intelligence community has been politicized. There was a story I heard the other day about an FBI operative who was assigned to investigate a terrorist, an ISIS terrorist. She ended up flying over to Syria and marrying the dude. She only got 2 years in jail for turning traitor against the United States, married the ISIS guy, and it was never reported in the news. This is the same intelligence community that didn't bother to follow their Snyder brothers back from terrorist training camp, didn't bother to do what they could to stop the San Bernardino. This is the same intelligence community that actually pulled the plug on the guy. I can't remember his name. I interviewed him when I was at Brigitte Gabriel's Act for America conference, who was connecting the dots between all the mosques, and he could have stopped the San Bernardino terrorist attack because it was tied to mosques in Southern California, and he was taken off the investigation, and his intelligence was shredded.
Wow.
And this is the same intelligence community that's being told that they can't use words like Islamic terror and jihad. Our intelligence community in many ways has been corrupted. And there needs to be, and you look at what's happened, where was the discussion about the leaking?
Exactly.
The leaking of Trump's conversation. Our intelligence community has been corrupted, in my opinion. There needs to be an investigation of them.
I mean, I think that part of the swamp draining needed to be that anybody that had been connected with the Obama administration was gone, like right away. Because you know, here's the thing for me with this clear shadow government that's going on with Obama, because he's undermining the president at every touch and turn. He can only do that with people that are cooperating. So to me, that means that you have to clean house. You know, this is exactly why in the corporate world, often when a new person takes over running a company, they actually get rid of a lot of people because they want to have an assurance of loyalty. And I think that that's absolutely fair. You know, and all these judges that have been pissing and whining, I can't remember the guy's name, the guy from New York, the guy with the Indian sounding name, saying, oh, it is so unfair, I did a great job. Who freaking cares, dude? Get gone. You're not required anymore. And isn't it like any other job?
Well, yeah, of course it is. You know, it's standard procedure, whether it's U.S. attorneys and you know, across the nation. Clinton did it. I mean, he cleaned house of all of them. You know, and I think, like I said earlier, I think he made a mistake. I think he should have asked Comey to resign. I think he kept him for appearance's sake.
Right.
And I think that Trump also thought, I could be wrong here, but I think they're thinking they might be able to use Comey down the road and use him against himself and against Hillary Clinton. But I think that ultimately he'll be gone in a few months. But
good.
Yeah, the problem is, like, if 90-something% of the intelligence community are Democrats and donated to Hillary, who do you get rid of? Who do you keep? The swamp is so deep. Everything's so corrupted, and I think we got to have reasonable expectations about what Trump can do and how quickly he can do it.
Absolutely, and I want to emphasize that none of the things that I've said are in order to trash President Trump, because I've got his back, as I've said several times, during this broadcast. But I think that the American people are really going to need to see some action on these things very soon, because there's a dire need for change in the intelligence community, because there is no faith there anymore. And when you have no faith in the intelligence community, how does that bode for us with regards to our national security and things like that? It's a worry.
there's so many worries from so many different angles in terms of where we're at and what the job Donald Trump has ahead of him. And I'm glad you mentioned the fact that you're still supporting him and that criticizing or pushing back isn't, that you still support him because, my show is about that I advocate for ideas. I don't necessarily push party or Paul. And I feel as though when it comes to President Trump, I feel like he's the kind of politician now, before candidate, who does listen to the people.
Right.
And that puts back against him, holding his feet to the fire, saying, hey, you promised this. We've got a Republican Party that's known for taking a good conservative. Look at how many Tea Party people got elected to be true conservatives and got swallowed up and shut up and shoved aside and got sucked into the establishment machine. And there's a lot of pressure for him to do that. I don't think it means that you don't support Trump to say, hey, this is a promise you made, and we're going to hold your feet to the fire.
Right.
I think that's what he would expect us to do, and I think we need to keep our voices. I think that's social media is a great way to do it.
It is.
I think that it's different, though, to say, like us, to say we still support President Trump, but we want to push back when we see him sidestepping a little bit or maybe not fulfilling his promises. We want to hold his feet to the fire. And what I'm starting to see more and more of is the reemergence of the never-Trumpers during the primary process. These cruiser National Review people who never were ever on the Trump train,
right,
pretended were when he won the nomination and when he won the election, but really they were laying in wait for him to do something that didn't exactly live up to their little purity standards, and now they are full bear with their egomaniacal, narcissistic crap undermining Trump and his support.
I think I actually, I feel sorry for the dude, and, I think that it's bad enough that you've got the Democrats kind of agreeing with you, but when you've got, I nearly swore then, I apologize for nearly swearing, but when you've got idiots in your own party that still don't support you. I mean, it infuriates me when people tell me that they're Republicans but they voted for Hillary rather than vote for Donald Trump. Why the hell are you a Republican if you can't support the candidate? If you're going to vote for the opposition rather than support the candidate of choice, why are you in the party? I know a lot of people are not, it's interesting because, I used to be a Democrat and lots of people are kind of surprised that I'm so committed to this party right now. But something interesting was said to me the other day. I didn't leave the Democrat Party; they left me. And it was only when Donald Trump came along that I felt comfortable referring to myself as a Republican. And a lot of people have said that. And the things that he's trying to achieve, it's not about party lines, it's about common sense. And it's about fairness, and it's about making a difference. And as an American, why can't you embrace that regardless of whatever party colors you lean towards?
Absolutely. And, one of the things that was important in the primary process is that we end up with a nominee that could attract Democrats as well as independents, because we needed that. There was this blue wall going into the election, the Electoral College. Supposedly there was that blue wall of Democrats, and Trump, in my opinion, was the only one who was going to capture those Democrats and win us the election, and he did. And as much as I'm disappointed in this continuing resolution that did not give Trump what he needed and what he asked for, and I spoke out about that. It doesn't mean that I don't support Trump. And, I don't really like what I'm seeing, not from Democrat detractors, but from Republicans that were these never-Trumpers during the primary campaign, that, pretended that they were supportive of Trump, but really weren't, and now they're using this continuing resolution as a way to just bash Trump all day, every day, and
absolutely
support. We need to hold his feet to the fire, but we need to support him. We don't need to be throwing him to the wolves at this point. Then we're not going to get what we want.
Exactly. And it's sad that we have to say that, but we do. And I know you watch the show, Mr. Trump, but Donald, we got your back, buddy. I need to do the introductions for our guest, who's going to be joining us any second. He is a comedian, a writer and an actor. No, it's not me who's the guest. Why would I do that? And his name is Mr. Steven Snyder. He's going to be joining us any second now. He's been on the show before. He's very funny. He's actually a conservative comedian, which I think is very, very interesting. You know, I'm willing to bitch about everybody in my comedy. So watch out. You know, I think it's imperative to be able to do that, but we'll find a little bit more about Steven when he calls in any second now. Wouldn't it be just perfect if he called in the moment that I said any second now? Steven, where are you? Call us now. We are waiting with breath that is bated. What is bated breath? What is it all about?
I have no idea, but did you just say that you do stand-up in your stand-up routine?
Yes, I do. So
I did not know that.
Yes.
I love
Yes, I would like 3 large busty strippers delivered immediately to 8910 Sepulveda Eastway.
I'm sorry, we're out of busty strippers. Would you like a syphilitic whore with garlic bread instead as a complimentary offer?
Yeah, I'll take that. I can never pass up that. I love garlic. Fantastic.
Absolutely, you definitely need it with these ones. Welcome back to the show, Steven. You're live with myself and my co-host, Andrea Kaye. Welcome. How is the world with you in sunny California?
The world is absolutely fantastic. I just finished writing my 7th TV pilot. Currently shopping those babies around. I'm going to be developing number 8 over the next couple of months, and then on to the feature. So things are going very, very well.
Wonderful. And you just got married as well, didn't you? How is married life treating you? And do you get on with your mother-in-law?
You know, it's great. I mean, look, these Russian mail-order brides are some of the best out there.
Don't say that. That's terrible. He's joking. I've seen what his wife looks like. She ain't no mail order bride. She is beautiful.
No, my wife is absolutely gorgeous. She's beautiful. I really like that. She's just fantastic.
Absolutely. So I want to jump right in because it's hard in the political world to be funny. You know, I know myself. I never referred to myself as a comedian for so long, even though I did do stand up and things like that too. Because I always felt people would not take me seriously as a presenter. I always just used to say I'm not a comedian. I'm funny. So tell us, when did you step into the world of comedy and how did that come about?
I was 25 years old and I was in Central Illinois. I was actually in Springfield, Illinois. And there was this really, really nice comedy lounge called the Funny Bone. And they had some really good top A-listers come through there and some B-listers. But they started doing these, these open mic nights on like Wednesday or Thursday nights or something. And I got up there. And the first night I did it, I killed it. The next night I went up there, the next week, I didn't kill it, and I was basically asked to tone down the language. So
surely not.
Yeah. and then of course out in LA, I was with a great group called the LA Connection. They are on Ventura Boulevard in Sherman Oaks, and they're an improv group. And through that, I was able to do several Comedy Store bookings, which was fantastic.
Great. Yeah, I've not actually done the Comedy Store, but I did a couple of big clubs that are in London, and I think it's very hard to judge. You can have the best jokes in the world and be really funny, but if the audience is not in the right mood, there's just no telling, is there? Really, it's a very hard balance to kind of get it right all the time. So, how do you involve the politics in the comedy?
Well, generally, I have to make sure that people who are actually out there in the crowd listening to me, they have to be at least 3 sheets to the wind. I mean, these people have got to have a few cocktails in them to really enjoy it. Because
for sure,
if you really start talking about politics, you really have to open your mind, and you have to be very vulnerable, but you also have to be very confident out there. And also, you have to have confidence to laugh. I laugh at Trump jokes. I laugh at
me too.
Jokes. I laugh at everything. There are so many people out there who
Yeah.
That, you have to be fearless, and you've got to just go out there, and you've got to have a lot of confidence with it.
Right. Absolutely. I would agree with that 200%. I actually had Republicans emailing me and saying, why are you talking about Trump so disrespectfully? And all I said was that, I was waiting for my invite to the White House. And when I went there for dinner, I hoped that he'd be getting out the best China. And apparently that's disrespectful, but I think Donald Trump would laugh at that too,
You got to have a great sense of humor. You got to have, that's what's missing in America. All these Antifa morons, these complete total loser douchebags. The Antifa crowd are now the fascists. The anti-fascists are now the fascists. These guys have no sense of humor at all. And it's also very, very similar to some of the people who are maybe hardcore right-wing or whoever, or even that politically correct weenie group of centrists out there, okay? Those folks, okay?
Right.
Someone has a sense of humor, and you've got to have a sense of humor in this world because the world's so crazy, you'll go crazy without it.
Absolutely. I want to bring you in, Andrea, because like me, you have a great sense of humor too. Do you find that on your show you have to be serious all the time, or do you get to crack the odd funny and smile?
Well, thank you for saying I've got a good sense of humor. I don't really see it because not in the sense of being like a stand-up comic. I have so much admiration for people that can actually sit down and write a joke. I think I can be quippy at times and give good snark, but to actually be a funny comedian is just amazing. And I would love to see Steven sometime. I hadn't gone to see stand-up in a while, and a friend of mine dragged me to see Arsenio Hall a couple months ago, and I was like, yeah, I didn't know what to expect because I'd never seen Arsenio Hall stand-up, and I love the fact that he was funny for over an hour, and he was just as hard-hitting on Hillary as he was Trump. And man, the people, so many of the liberals in the audience, they were so angry about that because they wanted to be anti-Trump all the way, right?
Right.
So to not only be funny, but to be funny against both sides, man, that's just genius. And you know what? What a gift to be able to make people laugh like you do, Steven. God bless comics,
Absolutely. So I want to talk about a few of the kind of things that have been going on today. I want to talk a little bit about Hillary Clinton, who had the audacity. I mean, I thought that was stand up today on the Woman on Woman conference. And no, it's nothing to do with lesbians. When she said if the election had been held on October 27th, that she would have won. What say you, Stephen Snyder, about that?
Look, Hillary Clinton is turned into this. You know who Hillary Clinton is? She's like if you're playing the game of Monopoly, okay? You get the second prize in the beauty contest, collect $10, candidate. That's who she is.
For sure.
She's very, very angry about it. She's not the pass, go collect $200 community chest card. She's actually the collect $10 winning second prize at a beauty contest card in Monopoly. That's why she's so pissed off.
Yeah, I think it's kind of interesting. She's really bitter. I wasn't there, but I hear that she was so drunk on the night of the election that she actually hit her campaign manager when she found out she lost. But I just wish I was better with video because I want to take a lot of her quirky clips and kind of put them together to the Benny Hill theme tune because her campaign was like such a joke. And when she went to the 9/11 memorial and they had to hold her up and all of that like body jerking was just like I was like, I'm sorry, I don't wish anybody harm, even Hillary Clinton. But that was funny shit, wasn't it? Let's face it.
Yeah, what rumor is she punched John Podesta. She was a drunken, raving lunatic on election night.
Yeah.
I find that absolutely hysterical. She's also had more women than Bill Clinton. Let's cut that out. I mean, we all know what Hillary likes. Uma's always hanging around. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Hashtag Seinfeld.
Absolutely.
Look, the reality of it is she lost because people are rejecting globalism.
Right.
They're rejecting elite people telling them what to do. She didn't win because people liked Trump. She didn't lose because people liked Trump. She lost because everyone hates globalism, and they're really, really tired of these elite politicians, these career politicians, constantly telling people what to do.
So it's nothing to do with Russia or Russian vodka or WikiLeaks or James Comey or anything of that ilk.
No, not at all.
Well, here's where I got to disagree with even. I think that people just flat out disliked her.
Right.
I think that one of the reasons why they had to bump off Bernie in the fraud sense, not in the Ben Foster sense.
Unfortunately.
Because here's a 70-something-year-old dude with bad hair who was more likable than her, who couldn't even basically form a sentence very well, and even he was more likable than her. She had no business getting the nomination because there was nobody who liked her. Nobody. I don't even think her own daughter Chelsea liked her. So
No.
she was completely unlikable, and she knew it, and that's one of the reasons why they kept her off the campaign for those seizures and stuff she was doing.
Right, because it's kind of interesting, because even Bill didn't want her. Let's face it. I mean, she's been with him over 40 years. Just look how many other women have been in the picture. It's kind of scary that even Bill doesn't want her. So, America has just really been echoing what Bill has been saying for the past 40 years. But
yeah, and in terms of the anger stuff and the explosions, I mean, Buzz Patterson has written about the fact when he carried the nuclear football during the Clinton administration, he's written about instances in which she was, the screaming and the yelling and the F-bombs, this and busting lamps and stuff. I mean, this was a woman she was a fraud on the campaign trail. I mean, the anger, the meanness that she's got just barely below the surface, that no matter how many times she tries to trot out that bad cackle, man, people aren't buying it.
No.
She's just a flat out mean old haint.
Well, I want to ask you, Stephen. One of the things that really bothered me about Hillary on the campaign trail was that she claimed to be there for LGBT, ABCDFDG, whatever the acronym is today, people, while she was being funded by the very people that were throwing them off roofs. Now, is it that gay people are just gullible, or do we just have a lot of stupid homosexuals in America?
We have a lot of stupid homosexuals in America.
Exactly.
Because, look, Trump actually, at the RNC, love Trump or hate Trump, he basically told Republicans, hey, I'm going to support the LGBT community.
Right.
Trump has always been inclusive. Love him or hate him, you can't deny that. Now, Hillary Clinton actively takes money from countries and supports countries that stone gays, that treat women like slaves, that put gays off of rooftops. The irony is stunning.
It totally is.
Not only that, but during that whole transgender bathroom crap going on in North Carolina, he was the one who said, "Hey, anybody wants to use the bathroom at Trump Tower can come in and use the bathroom. You want to come?"
Yeah.
That was even during the campaign. And then what got no media play was that he signed an executive order. One of the first ones that he signed was to uphold President Obama's thing about workplace equality for LGBT people.
Right.
So he, and it was Obama who said, that he was against gay marriage before in 2008.
And so did Hillary.
It's irrational for the LGBT community to dislike Trump. It's like they're following the marching orders, just like it's irrational for women to support the Democrat Party when they take money from regimes that stone women for being raped.
Exactly. And the interesting thing is, I got a lot of emails and stuff from people in the gay community that think that I've sold out because I support Trump, and that really angers me. From the perspective of that I, as a gay person living in the United States, would feel far safer under President Trump than I would under Hillary Clinton. And there's no innuendo there, Stephen, before you start. But I really do, just from the perspective of the number of times she sold Americans out, and we know who she sells, to the highest bidder. What would that say for, not just the gay community, but for the community as a whole, with regards to feeling safe under Hillary and being sold out?
The reality of it is that she has no standards. Zero. It's whatever the buzz line is going to be, whatever the media is going to play on.
Right.
That's who this woman is. She's a heartless, soulless, devil, demon woman, and people did not want to hear that cackling voice for 4 to 8 years.
Yeah.
The problem with Hillary is, if she would have came out and said, look, Islam, radical Islam, is a problem, and we will never let this affect our women, our minorities, and some of our LGBTQ people out there. And look, she never said that. She tries to play both sides of the fence because the left, these Antifa people, Hillary Clinton, they love radical Islam.
Right.
But at the same time, LGBTQ card, okay? You know what? And people rejected that. And if you were gay outside of New York and LA, a lot of them voted for Trump too, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
And because you only hear about the New York and LA crowd, but there's a lot of people in the middle of the country that were gay that also voted for Trump.
Absolutely, and I think that it does really come back to what I said about unfortunately per capita we have more stupid homosexuals than most countries. So I wanna talk a little bit about James Comey, Stephen, in his commentary today that he was nauseated. How nauseated were you having to listen to that swill?
Well, I'll just tell you this, Andrew. I tried killing myself about 37 times.
Right.
It was number 38 when I listened to James Comey talk.
Right.
This guy still has a job, is absolutely outstanding. I mean, it's just stunning. And he's incompetent. He's compromised. He's a moron. I don't care how tall he is. I'm 6'6", he's 6'8". I don't care. The bottom line is he has to go. Why he's not fired? He's proven to be an ineffective Washington deep state elite move.
Exactly.
Instead of watching James Comey talk, I recommend everybody get out a ball-peen hammer and smash their left pinky toe into oblivion, okay?
Right.
The pain you're going to experience...
Very similar.
...your left pinky toe smashed is the same pain you're going to having listened to James Comey talk in front of Congress.
Absolutely. I'm at a loss. We talked about this earlier on in the show. I'm at a loss to know why he is still in a job. But I just wonder who he thinks he's convincing. Because I think that this is a scared, you say 6'8", but I think this is a scared little man who is afraid that if he doesn't comply, he's going to get fostered, basicly. But if you're that scared, then why be in the job? Because I would have resigned a long time ago. If I was kind of worried about getting killed. I've had more death threats doing the show than anything else, and they're mostly from my family, of course. But that's for a different show. But what about the way forward? Donald Trump, as far as I'm concerned, is kind of doing really well in the face of so much adversity. But does he need to toughen up on Berkeley College and the Republicans that are still out there chanting "Never Trump"?
Yeah, look, there are so many problems with the Republican Party. By the way, it pales in comparison to what's going on with the Democrats. They're a bi-coastal elite party. They have no base. They have no message. They have no leadership. But let's talk about the Republicans, okay? You've got a bunch of rhino, neocon, weak, feckless, impotent, incompetent, and compromised, deep state, dug-in politicians that are career politicians in the Republican Party. This is why the biggest party growing is the independent party or the non-affiliated party. People are tired of the Republican Party, the GOP, John McCain, good old boys, and they're tired of the Democrats. And this spending bill that Paul Ryan put together Paul Ryan is sending like some drunk wife with a credit card after 2 bottles of vino. And it's terrible, and people are sick and tired of it.
Oh, you've met my sister.
Let me ask you this, Stephen. I'm trying to wrap my head around why Donald Trump is going along with that. They did not have to do this as a continuing resolution just because this was 75%, part of what Obama had started last year. He put in his request, and if Donald Trump can put in a request for spending, that meant that the Republican Party could have given Donald Trump what he wanted, what the people wanted. So, I'm kind of confused as to, I'm really thinking Donald Trump should have said at this point, I'm not going to sign it.
Right.
I'm here with my agenda that represents the people. We got different branches of government, but I don't understand threatening to shut down the government in September to get what he wants when he could do that now. What's the difference between now and September? If they're too scared of a shutdown now, aren't they going to be too scared in September? I'm kind of confused. I really think going forward, what Donald Trump should be doing is saying, here's my agenda items that the people voted for. Come to me with bills that represent what the people wanted, and I will sign them into law. Otherwise, don't come to me.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I completely agree
Exactly.
I totally agree. I think that Trump shouldn't sign it. I'm guessing he's playing chess. I don't like his strategy, but I haven't seen it all the way out. But no, I would put the government down. I completely agree. I would not sign this terrible spending bill.
Right. And just Ryan, final question for both of you, because we are out of time, but I'm going to ask you first, Stephen, does Ryan really need to go? Because he's neither use nor ornament.
Paul Ryan needs to go. The fact that people in Wisconsin voted for him is absolutely, I cannot believe. I mean, how much cheese and beer are the people of Wisconsin consuming? It's clogging up their brain. Okay?
Right.
Paul Ryan needs to go.
Yep.
He's worse than John Boehner, who all he did was drink, can, cry, and smoke cigarettes. Paul Ryan's much worse because he reminds me of Christian Bale from American Psycho. Yes, he needs to go.
Right.
Here's the door, Mr. Ryan.
Absolutely. Final word from you, Andrea. Does Ryan need to go?
Yeah, and he needed to go before the election. In fact,
Yes.
Nayland, a great challenger, great businessman, challenged Paul Ryan, and I'm still scratching my head. I'm glad Stephen mentioned it because people have been busting Ryan on, and I'm like, what happened with these voters in Wisconsin? I can't wrap my head around anybody who would vote for Ryan and vote for Trump in November. Doesn't make sense to me.
Absolutely. So, Ryan, Paul Ryan, if you're listening, we give you the thumbs down. Resign. Close your account, Ryan. We are out of time. Thanks to our guest, the fabulous Stephen Snyder. Tell people they can find you, Stephen.
You can find me at Stephen with a V, dsnyder.com. StephenDSnyder.com.
Absolutely. All of Stephen's contact information, not his address or phone number, but if you pay me bigly, you can have that too, is on the X-RAD Facebook page for today. I'm joking, of course. I would give it to you for $10. But listen, Stephen, thank you so much for joining us. I hope you'll come back again very soon and share with us your personal brand of humor.
Excellent, Xander. Thanks for having me. Andrea, it's always a pleasure. You two have a wonderful evening.
Thanks a lot, Stephen. Take care.
Good night.
That was Stephen Snyder. Make sure you check him out at StephenDSnyder.com, Stephen with a V. And his email address and his website address is on the X-RAD Facebook page for today. Thank you to my fabulous and beautiful co-host, the one, the only, the fabulous Andrea Kaye. Tell people where they can find you, Andrea, and more importantly, where they can listen to your show.
Well, thank you for asking, darling. My show is on Tuesday, 6 p.m. Pacific time on AM 1170, but I record it earlier in the day, and I broadcast via Facebook Live on Tuesdays at 10-ish a.m. Thank you so much. And Wednesdays, I'm right here with my man, Zan.
Oh, yeah, it's always fun on the Zan and Ann show. Thank you so much for joining us, Andrea. Have a great week, and I look forward to speaking to you very soon.
Thanks, doll.
Thanks a lot. Night. Take care. Lots of love. That was the fabulous Andrea Kaye. Make sure you go to AndreaKayeShow.com and check her out. All of her contact details are on the X-RAD Facebook show page for today. Thanks to everybody in the live feed. Thanks to everybody for watching. Thanks to everybody in the chat room. On tomorrow's show, my co-host is Swoop, and our guest is David Weissman. Make sure you stay cool out there, or warm, wherever you happen to be in these United States. And if you are nauseated, stop looking at pictures of Hillary Clinton. I really do love you all. Bye-bye.